Your degree didn't prepare you for this, your experience didn't either. And while you were climbing the corporate ladder, quietly, invisibly, the rungs were being replaced, not by someone better than you, by something that never sleeps, never asks for a raise, and never makes the same mistake twice. Welcome to the ghost labour crisis, and if you have a job right now, you need to watch this. Let's start with a number that should terrify every professional watching this. According to Goldman Sachs, current AI systems can match or outperform up to 47% of industry professionals on a predefined set of economically valuable tasks, not factory workers, not cashiers, professionals, lawyers, engineers, analysts, writers, the people who spent years and tens of thousands of dollars becoming experts at something. And here's what makes this different from every other technological disruption in history. This one isn't coming for the jobs at the bottom first, it's starting at the middle and working its way up. Since 2022, writing jobs have fallen 30%, software and web development roles down 21%, engineering positions down 10% in just 3 years. These aren't small numbers, these are entire career paths quietly disappearing. The World Economic Forum projects that AI will displace 92 million jobs globally by 2030, 92 million, and 2026 through 2028 is being called the peak displacement window, meaning right now, today, is when it hits hardest. But here's what nobody is telling you. It's not just about jobs disappearing, it's about how they disappear. In the past, when technology replaced a job, you knew. The factory closed, the typist was let go. There was a moment, a notice, a clear ending. What's happening in 2026 is completely different. Jobs aren't being eliminated, they're being hollowed out. The title stays, the salary might stay. But the work, the actual, skilled work that made the job meaningful and secure, that gets quietly handed to an algorithm. This is what researchers are now calling ghost tasking. High-level expertise, legal analysis, medical interpretation, engineering verification, being broken into 5-econ micro-tasks that an AI completes in the background. The human professional is still technically employed, but they're no longer doing the job they trained for, they're doing quality control for a machine, they've become a ghost in their own career. Mid-tier corporate departments still exist on paper, the org chart still shows a team of 12, but half those roles have been quietly emptied of their actual function. The humans are still there. The work isn't. Let's talk about what this means for the most expensive piece of paper most people own, your degree. In 2026, the labour market has effectively begun to devalue the master's degree, not as a concept, but as a currency. The skills those degrees were designed to teach, legal reasoning, financial modelling, medical diagnosis support, content strategy, data analysis, are now being replicated at scale by AI models that achieve parity with senior level cognitive output. And here's the brutal mathematics of that. A senior analyst costs a company $120,000 a year in salary, benefits, and overhead. An AI subscription that does the same analytical tasks costs a few $100s a month. There is no hiring committee that ignores that math forever. The class of 2026 is stepping into a labour market that no longer values what they were trained to do. The mismatch is real, the frustration is real, and nobody in power is building a safety net fast enough to catch the people falling through. Now let's talk about the people already trapped in this system. There's a new class of worker emerging in 2026. Researchers call them the professional underclass. These are people who are overqualified for manual labour. They have degrees, they have experience, they have skills, but they're trapped in high-speed digital gig work, selling their expertise in 5-minute increments on platforms they don't control. They're not unemployed, so they don't show up in unemployment statistics. They're not struggling in any way that looks obvious from the outside, but they're earning a fraction of what they should be, with zero job security, zero benefits, and zero path upward. And the cruelest part, their expertise is being harvested. Every legal brief they review, every medical case they verify, every line of code they check, that data is being fed back into the AI models, training the very systems that will replace them completely. They are literally paying for their own obsolescence with their own labour. This is what makes the ghost labour crisis different from any economic disruption before it. The workers aren't being replaced and discarded, they're being used to build the thing that replaces them. The corporate ladder, the framework that an entire generation built their lives around, is gone. Not damaged, not harder to climb. Gone. In 2026, career advancement is increasingly determined not by performance, relationships, or merit, but by data point optimization. Algorithmic management systems now dictate the microsecond of a worker's logged activity. Every pause, every task completion, every response time, scored, ranked, assessed, and promotion decisions, when they happen at all, are made by black box systems that workers have no visibility into and no way to appeal. You can't schmooze an algorithm. You can't demonstrate leadership potential to a system that only sees keystroke data. The result is what researchers call a permanent horizontal workforce, a massive flat layer of workers with no path toward leadership, no path toward stability, and no path toward the life they were promised. If they just worked hard enough and long enough, the ladder is gone. And nobody told you, here's where this connects to everything else you're already feeling. The erosion of professional salaries is directly tied to what's happening in the housing market. When mid-tier professional incomes stagnate or decline, the ability to qualify for a mortgage collapses. The suburban dream, the house, the security, the upward trajectory was always dependent on a stable professional income base. That base is cracking, and while that's happening to workers, something else is happening at the top. Venture capital has shifted its focus, not to building new companies with new products, but to owning the automated pipelines that facilitate ghost labour. The investors aren't betting on people anymore. They're betting on the systems that replace people. And every dollar that flows into those systems is a dollar betting against the professional class. The gap between the people who own the algorithms and the people who serve them is widening at a pace that no previous economic shift can match. This isn't wealth inequality in the traditional sense. This is a structural redesign of who gets to benefit from economic output and who gets locked out permanently. So what do you actually do about this? First, understand that the goal is not to outcompete AI at AI's game. You will lose. Every time. The goal is to identify where human judgment, human relationships, and human context still create irreplaceable value. Researchers call these human-in-the-loop roles. Positions where the human isn't doing the task. They're making the decision about whether the task was done correctly, where emotional intelligence, accountability, and physical presence still matter. These roles are growing, not shrinking. Second, stop thinking in terms of a career. Start thinking in terms of assets. A career is dependent on an employer who may not need you tomorrow. An asset generates value whether you're working or not. Skills that create leverage, relationships that create opportunity, knowledge that can be packaged and delivered without a 9-to-5 container. The people who survive and thrive in the ghost labour economy won't be the ones who adapted fastest to the tools. They'll be the ones who stop depending on the system entirely. Here's the uncomfortable truth that ties all of this together. The ghost labour crisis isn't a future prediction, it's a present reality. The 47% of professional tasks that AI can already match, that's today. The 92 million jobs being displaced by 2030, that clock is already running. The professional underclass that's growing in silence, they're already here. They just don't look like what unemployment used to look like. The conventional corporate ladder wasn't just a career structure, it was a promise. Work hard, get qualified, stay loyal, move up, build a life. That promise has been quietly broken, not with an announcement, not with a severance package, but with an algorithm running in the background that nobody told you about. The first step to protecting yourself is understanding what is actually happening, not what the headlines say, not what the job postings suggest, what is actually happening to the structure of work in 2026. And now you understand. This is what broke economy is here for. Every week we take the economic forces that are quietly reshaping your life, and we explain exactly what they are, why they're happening, and what they mean for you. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe, because what's coming next is even more important than what we just covered.